Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new episode of Beyond Mirage. Today, we have with us Mr. Tanwir Alam, founder and CEO of Fincart. He has more than 23 years of experience in the financial service industry. Prior to Fincart, he was working with IDFC Mutual Fund as director and head retail sales. He is also part of the elite panel speaker with Money Control, CNBC, TV18, Z Business, and Economic Times. Welcome, sir, to the podcast and web series of Beyond Mirage.
Thank you so much, Jay.
Okay, so to begin with, sir, what inspired you to start venture like Fincart, leaving behind your lucrative corporate job?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. In fact, when I was working with IDFC, I had noticed the way these financial distributors were serving the end consumer, and they were more focused on just selling the product and not solving the holistic problem that an individual would need to get addressed. And on the other hand, I had friends who were in the corporate sector who were looking for a very holistic solution. Somebody could take away their entire financial problem because finance is something which they feel is bothering them and they don't have time either. So I saw there's a huge gap there. And that is where I stepped in and tried to bridge the gap of becoming a trusted advisor who provides a very holistic solution. Now, the second thing what I did was try to study the business model. So as a head of retail sale, I had the luxury of meeting a lot of existing financial distributors in the country. And what I realized that at that point of time, there were two particular models. One was a physical brick and mortar, the conventional model that got built ages back. Now, that particular model, if you look at, is was an inefficient model, and especially in the light when the mutual fund remuneration or revenue got dropped drastically. On the other hand, you had the robo advisors who were basically using technology to advise end consumer and transact. So the challenge of the robo advisor was that the ticket size was so small that it was very difficult to make a very efficient business model out of the entire thing. So what I conceptualized the idea is where Fincart was born as an online assisted wealth tech platform, where the focus was providing a holistic solution to the end consumer and not just selling a product. So our core purpose of Fincart is to help Indians achieve their life financial goals.
Great, great. Awesome, sir. And so then focusing on the savings aspect and say going a bit depth into the personal finance, since you have got time to interact with so many distributors and you have been into major leadership positions, could you tell us that what is the ideal amount a person should save or invest? Like what percentage of the salary should a person save or invest?
Okay, India has traditionally a very high savings rate. Now, if you just go back 10 years also, you realize that the savings ratio of India was just about 35% plus.
Okay.
But the increased consumerism means you will see the the number of malls have increased. Okay, the people's aspiration and better quality lifestyle have led to spending more and saving less, and that drastically has dropped down, and today as I talk to you, it stands at about 28%. But majority of them, if you look at, if you segregate, it is the old people who are saving a little bit more than compared to the new people. So ideally, if you look at the ideal situation would have been that you have to save at least 25% of your monthly earning.
Okay.
And if you're still struggling, a bare minimum of 20% is a must. Below that, I will think that you are not doing justice.
Okay. So, sir, what would be your be advice be to a person who is actually earning well but not able to save it?
A very good question. There are technically two kind of expenditure we have.
Okay.
One is the livelihood expenditure, just for roti, kapda, makan that you have, okay, essential living, and the other is the lifestyle expenditure. That may not be the essential category, but that's spent and you should spend. Okay, at the end of the day, when you're earning, you want to live well. So ideally, there should be a good balance between livelihood expenditure and lifestyle expenditure. Now, if somebody is not able to save by spending only on the livelihood expenditure, it means that's something to worry about. The need to either upskill and upgrade himself to earn more so that he can meet the livelihood expenditure. That's first category. The other category, which is more often the case, people who struggle to save, that dent is caused by the increase or a reckless spending on lifestyle expenditure. Most often, this is the case. Okay, so they are compulsive, spendthrift, and that they need to change this habit. Okay, so I have tried and tested this formula with a couple of my clients, and it's very interesting. If people who are earning well and not saving, they can follow what they call a three envelope formula. Well, first envelope is the livelihood essential expenses, livelihood expenses. The second envelope should be a savings envelope. And since you're struggling, I will not peg it at 25%. You can start with 20% and let 30% go into your lifestyle expenditure. So the ratio is 50, 20, and 30. 50 for essential expense, 20 for savings, and 30 for lifestyle. This is the bare minimum. Ideally, it should have been 50, 25, 25. Now, when you have this three money of your monthly income spread in this three envelope, there are three rules to it. One, you're not going to change money from one envelope to the another. Two, you're not allowed to use credit card. Okay. And third, you're allowed to use the money from the respective envelope for the said category of investment. Just follow this three method. And time and again, I've seen people come to me after 3, 4 months and say, okay, I've saved almost my month's salary now. Now you might say this is a very age old or an archaic kind of a formula that you are asking us to follow in today's digital time. I can save digitally and all. Yes, of course. Many a times to break that compulsive habit and inculcate a new habit, this is done deliberately so that you get into the habit of saving money and spending only which is available to you physically in the form of an envelope.
Amazing. And sir, you in between you talked about the credit cards, and this is something which I was going to come on. Uh, See, we are bombarded with credit card industry, and there is a lot of this credit philosophy going on right now into the market. So, just wanted to focus on this aspect, that is taking credit a good thing or a bad thing, or taking loans a good thing or a bad thing, and if yes, what, if yes or if no, what is your opinion on that? Can you please elaborate on this aspect?
Very good question. See, basically companies borrow money and they invest to earn higher return. Similarly, we are individual are same. If you're taking any loan to buy asset that generates higher return than the interest on loan, one. Two, it provides you with some tax saving on the interest paid on loans. They are called good loans. And primarily, home loan or a mortgage loan would fall in that category. Okay. But loans taken for consumption or purchasing a depreciating asset is called bad loans. And the worst loans are personal loans and credit card loans. They are very high interest bearing loans and create a severe dent to the financial status of an individual. Having said that, for an individual, I also would not recommend a car loan also because it's a depreciating asset. But having said that, if it if a businessman wants to take a car loan and save tax on interest paid, because that's an allowed deduction in P&L. They want to take benefit of the depreciation and debit all car related expenses in the P&L to save tax. A businessman taking loan on car is very much advisable. So loan is nothing but a choice between instant gratification and delayed gratification. So if you want to take a loan on buying any kind of a consumption asset, or say a car, or going for a holiday, going for anything, I would advise that you delay that gratification, save that money. You will realize, especially in car, you will save about 30-40% of the money that you pay. You'll save that much.
Wow. And so coming to some behavioral aspects, since you talked about consumerism is increasing, you have seen malls are increasing, spending capacity is increasing, and since we have now credit philosophy in place, people are borrowing money and spending on consumerism and increasing, and has an aspiration to increase their lifestyle basically. So there's a culture of this status driven society overall, which I feel. So what do you think, sir? What are your views on this and how it will impact one's personal finance?
Okay. See, basically, this increased lifestyle or a status comes at a cost. There's a price that you pay. And see, when you're earning enough and spending, then you're within that bracket of 50, 25, 25. Then that's not a worry. When the worry comes, when you're earning, say, 100 rupees, you're spending 150 rupees to falsely live that status, that is where the challenge comes in. Okay. And you realize that most often, this lifestyle, people who are living this kind of a lifestyle will have an expensive car, expensive clothes, they'll party over weekends, and there is a gap. You're earning, say, 100 rupees, spending 150 rupees. This 50 rupees perpetually needs to be funded. And where will they get funded? It will get funded by way of credit cards or a personal loan. And those loans come at a very, very expensive cost. And many a times, these credit cards are revolved. That takes into a debt trap. So I think this status driven society, if you're not able to afford it, is a very reckless driving, and it will lead to a severe financial crisis, and one should be really careful about it. So my simple thumb rule to actually look at is, whenever your lifestyle expenditure exceeds 25% of your monthly earning, then that's a red flag for me. You must be very beware of that situation.
Perfect. So that envelope thing is going to help us everyone. 50, 25, 25. That should be the thumb rule for every one of us. So yeah. And sir, what factors one should consider while doing a financial planning? So there are a lot of listeners who would like to know about this because they are entering into this phase. So as since you have so much of experience, can you guide us that what factors one should consider while doing some financial planning?
Very good. So I'll share a few things, very important thing out there. One is the benefit of financial planning. Okay. And then I will tell you the components of the financial plan that one should consider. Okay. See, financial planning is nothing. It's an organized way of investing your hard-earned money for a specific purpose or a goal that you wish to achieve with that money. Okay. Now, there's a beautiful book written and a research done with 100 Harvard Business School students. What they call, and the book is called "What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School." Okay. So the researcher and the author went to a batch of 100 Harvard students and asked them only two questions rather. One, do you have a goal? Two, do you have a written plan around it? The first set, about 84% people neither had a goal nor a plan. The second, 13%, had a goal but no plan. The third category, minority, 3% only, had a goal and a written plan. So the author and researchers goes back to the same set of audience after a period of 10 years. And the only criteria to evaluate how they have done in life was the net worth. The first category of people, the average net worth was 100 rupees.
Okay.
Second category of people, by virtue of having just a goal in their mind vaguely, the average net worth was 200. And the third category of people who had a goal and a return plan achieved an average net worth of 3,000.
Wow.
So the financial planning that you do helps you to achieve much more with the same amount of money. This concept is relatively new, and hence people do the same mistake of doing ad hoc investment. Financial planning would help you achieve much more with the same amount of money. Now, that's the benefit of financial planning. The second category, what it should have, see, financial planning is like going, life is not certain, right?
Hmm.
It's like going on any adventure trek. When you go on any kind of adventure, say a river rafting, what will you do first? You will ensure that you have a life jacket, you have a helmet, you have equipped well, right?
Hmm.
In financial planning, I will break down into 5 components. That's a kind of a trademark process that we have built. It's based on, first portion takes protects your hard-earned money that you have. The first, you should have an emergency fund. The second category should be your necessary insurance, which I call risk protection, which is your medical insurance and term insurance. Third category, if you have a family history of critical disease, you must have a critical health insurance also. These three are very, very important. Now, then you should go for your goal-based investing, plan, invest, and then retirement is separate. Most often when we are planning, we think retirement is very far off, and we tend to actually neglect that retirement piece. Now, retirement is one of the most important and a certain goal in everybody's life. The benefit of starting early is that with a very small amount of money, you'll gather a large corpus over a period of time and can live a very comfortable retired life. Now, for female audience, I would say a lot of female take sabbatical in the mid part of the life because of family reasons. In mid 30s, 40s, they take a sabbatical. And female who have the habit of actually earning their own money, they want to be financially independent. For them, they should actually factor sabbatical also while they're planning their retirement. So the first takes care of your protecting your hard-earned money. Second takes care of your investing your hard-earned money. And the third important component is called succession planning or estate planning. Now, most people will feel that will and succession planning is a later part in life when I go old or retire. But COVID and other people incident has taught us. Now, for example, forget about COVID. God forbid you are going to a mall and something happens and you both pass away. Your children, and will not even know where your money is. So it makes sense to actually write a will, ensure where are your assets and how it's going to get distributed. A simple A4 sheet paper is good enough to save you from big troubles. So these are very three essential components of financial planning one must consider. And while doing the investment, automatically when you're doing, ensure that you club tax saving investment. So you are saving and investing also. So this is the few things that one should consider while doing financial planning.
Amazing. Amazing, sir. And sir, this brings me to again a behavioral question, I would say, that why people are afraid of investing. Like,
Great. See, actually, you'll be surprised to know uh, a lot of people are afraid of investing. And the core reason is, uh, see, fear comes from not knowing. Anything that you don't know, you would be scared of. Now, let me ask you a simple question, Jay. Do you know how to swim?
No, I don't.
You don't know. So when you go to swim, are you afraid of swimming? Going into water at time?
Yeah.
Little deep, little deep, will you be afraid?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So this is a behavioral trait. So a lot of people and who actually are even standing in the pool with their height over the water also are scared in swimming pool because they don't know how to swim. Whereas even a kid who doesn't have that height but will not be afraid of water if he knows swim.
Right.
So fear is comes from not knowing what you're doing. That's the first thing. Because behaviorally, the fear of loss of money gets processed in the same part of brain that deals with death and mortality. That strong is the fear of losing money. Now, let me further, but their understanding at times of risk is also ill perceived. So they can visualize the risk that is there of volatility in the market, the up and down, but they miss a very important risk. And let me ask you a question. If somebody walks into your house with a handgun, okay, and another guy with a cigarette, who would appear most scarier?
With a gun.
With a gun, right? Similarly, anybody who has a malaria as a disease and the other person and choice between having malaria and AIDS, he will prefer malaria, right?
Right.
But now data suggests that there are more deaths by malaria than AIDS. There are more deaths by tobacco, cigarette smoking than by handgun. So what you are foreseeing the risk of volatility is a smaller risk than the risk of not investing, which is the inflation. The inflation risk is the risk is like a termite which is inside your woodwork and eating from inside, you're not even realizing it. So to all the audience, my suggestion would be the risk of investment can be managed and mitigated or reduced, but the risk of not investing is much bigger risk which they are not able to see.
That's amazing. And I think this would actually help people to think deeply and start investing. But sir, this brings me to another question that the entire financial industry or per se any industry is so sales focused right now. And everyone is trying to sell something to you. And since you don't have any knowledge, you don't have any awareness, you listen to everyone, take knowledge from everyone, and then try to decide. But since everyone is putting forth their points in a different manner, it becomes very confusing for an individual to select which product or which financial tool one should select while going for investing. So what are your views on this, sir?
So I think the audience or the consumer needs to be a little bit more aware. I would really, and unfortunately, our Indian education system teaches you how to earn money, but they don't teach you how to manage that money. I think education should start at that level. But obviously, I can't change the system, but I'm going to help these people understand it. See, whenever you are investing, it would be prudent to invest via financial planning. And you should be not afraid of asking questions like, why are you recommending this product? How will this product help me achieve my life objective or a goal? Do you have a better alternative? What are the costs associated with this investment? So the consumer should start asking the right set of questions, spend some time on actually creating financial awareness for them. After all, it's their own hard-earned money. And today, there are, for example, Jay, you're doing a fantastic job. So if you're sharing this kind of knowledge, or there are a lot of platforms, then they share this kind of knowledge, I think it doesn't, you should spend at least 1 hour per week, or if not that, at least 1 hour per month to little bit educate yourself. then you'll be in a position to ask the right set of question that will help you segregate the right set of advisor and the wrong set of advisor. Because see, let me put very differently. The market is segregated into three segment of advisors. It is not that people want to cheat you. When their existence is at stake, is where they start trying to wrong sell a product. So if you look at the top ultra HNIs and HNIs, they are served by private banking community. And they are the well-aware community. They know everything. They are never missold a product because of their awareness, the circle they meet. And the private banker is also cognizant that it's a high value customer. Even if I sell the right set of product, the amount, even if I make a small amount of money, that's good enough to compensate me. And the business model is good. The second set of audience, middle class, many times a lot of distributors struggle because people are following the conventional brick and mortar model. It's an inefficient model. And if they rightly sell some product, then what happens? Their survival is not at stake. So they try to mix and match. They will sell some product which is in your interest, some product in their interest. Bottom of the pyramid, where the ticket size is very small, that is where the problem happens. Because the ticket size is so small, it doesn't make viable sense. Either that category will not be catered to, or if they are catered, inevitably the product may not be in their interest. It all depends on the advisor at the end of the day, but this is the harsh reality. So it is in the interest of the audience to really educate themselves and ask the right sort of question to ensure and segregate the good and the bad people in this industry.
Got it. Got it. So awareness is the key mainly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. And sir, I have two questions. One is, first one is, there is something which is said that you are getting wealthy, and the second one is like staying wealthy. So what are your views on this?
Oh, very good. Okay. In fact, it's a very good question. So let me use an anecdote. So for example, if you look at Mike Tyson, Jim Carrey, and a lot of celebrities who've earned a lot of wealth, but their life is in misery or they went bankrupt. Why is it so? The reason is very simple. They have been investing money in assets which is not yielding or generating return. For example, Mike Tyson had lavish homes which you don't need. Okay, that's for consumption. If he had gold bathtub made of gold. He had tigers and leopards as pets. Same with Jim Carrey. He had octopus as pets. So you are investing in assets or in products which as either for consumption, a lavish mansion which is not serving a purpose, to investing in something which is not yielding you return. If you are investing that hard-earned money in assets which generate returns, then you will stay wealthy. Okay, so spending money purely on consumption or buying depreciating asset or buying asset which will be like a money guzzler. It'll suck off money. Like if you're having pet at leopard and tiger, imagine the pain that you'll have to maintain that. So it'll suck a lot of money from you. So those kind of habits are short way of taking you into bankruptcy or pure financial status. इसलिए बोलते हैं ना, बहुत से लोग बोलते हैं ना कि यार he used to be a rich, वो पहले बहुत रईस हुआ करता था. So why is it so? Because he did not protect his money or invest in money prudently, that would have maintained him or wealthy. Secondly, staying wealthy, I have a very simple formula. See, if you have money and that allows you the comfort of freedom to do whatever you like without having to bother where your next meal will come from, that's the state of being in wealth. And that can only happen if you create passive incomes.
Perfect. And so, one question I have, which I ask all of my guests, is that what is success according to you?
Okay, success to me is very simple. See, it's to each one it will be different. Okay, some people will have a lower aspiration. There's nothing wrong with it, because I have a friend. He said, "I don't want to go beyond this." So it's up to each one. But in a simple line, if I have to say, I will repeat what I said. Success is something which you can do at your will and comfort without having to bother where your money will come from.
Wow.
If you actually able to get to that state, that's the real success. Money does not necessarily equal to success. So I have may have all the money, but I don't have time, then that to me I think will not be a success. So I am able to take off leave whenever my family wants. So I think that is, I'm able to take vacation, and I'm not a slave of that money. So then that is to me success. Success is your ability to do things, enjoy work, enjoy life, and have enough money to support that life.
Amazing. And so, any final view comments that you would like to tell our audience?
See, I say my very simple. I'd say कि money is hard earned, and it's your hard earned money. You have to be the custodian of this hard earned money. Okay, and for that, if you need to little bit learn and upgrade yourself, by all means one should do. Don't fall prey to someone's trap of selling your product. One, two. I want to give a very simple rule. There is no shortcut to creating wealth. A lot of my clients earlier said Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and all. I say, if I don't understand something I will not. So I realized that there is no shortcut to wealth creation. And third thing I'll say, everything in life that we do, consistency is more important than just one ad hoc quantity. Now I draw inspiration from marathon. I run a lot. So what I have realized, I can't suddenly wake up in one fine morning and say start running. That small effort consistently over a period of time will help you create long-term wealth. Similarly is with marathon. So the secret to wealth creation lies in power of compounding.
Hmm.
It is not timing the market, it is time in the market that helps you create wealth. So all things falls with consistency. If you do these 2 3 things right, nobody can stop you from becoming rich or wealthy.
Amazing. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing all the insights, all the knowledge that you have with us in this short span of time. It was really great to interact with you. I hope this podcast reaches to many people and it will help them to create awareness and it will help them to do their financial planning in a better manner. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Jay, for having me here. Really appreciate it. And it was fantastic chatting with you also.
Thank you.
Thanks.